Hi guys, it's Shaes from Shaes Kitchen. Thanks so much for joining me for another video. Today I wanted to jump on here very quickly to share my monthly Powersheets update. And really this is just so that I can hold myself accountable as well as give you all an update on how I am doing with my Powersheets. You guys, you know that I love the Powersheets and I did a review on it. And if you have not seen it, please hit the I above and go back and watch that. I really go over my thoughts on the actual Powersheets, what I was expecting it to be and what it actually turned out to be. And I am still in love with it. So that's why I wanted to come on here and just give you all an overview of what my goals were for January and how I did. I'm not gonna keep you too long. I'm gonna try to make this as fast as possible. But first, I want to go over my January goals. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have a little checklist that I want to make sure that I go over. So just bear with me. So my goals for January, I tried to keep them very simple, very straightforward on what I actually wanted to do. So on the tending list, there's a section that says encouraging words, your top priority, your monthly action items, your weekly action items, and your daily action items. So my encouraging words were straight from Emily Lay, if you guys are familiar. Well, I'm sure if you're looking at this video, you're familiar with Emily Lay, but it was Grace Not Perfection, Shaes. I just wanted to really hone in that I don't have to be perfect and to get out of my head. It is okay to mess up. It is okay if you don't do everything the way that you have planned it out, because if you don't, it just means that you're working towards it, not that you actually fail, which is something that I'm working on. So I took that little bit from Emily Lay. And my top priority, I had two. The one was make time for God. That is the number one priority for 2019, because I feel like if I don't put him first, nothing else that I want will actually come true. So that was one of my top priorities. My second priority was getting on the schedule for YouTube postings. So those are the two things that I really wanted to work on January as my top priority. So my monthly action plans or my monthly action items is I wanted to weed out negative words. Now that actually is something that you have to really do on a daily basis, but overall for the month, I really wanted to look back and say, oh, I did good with, taking negative words such as can't or, I'm not good enough, or just the whole thought process, get that out of my head. The second thing was I wanted to make sure that I did a monthly Powersheets review with you guys, which I'm doing now. But it was definitely a goal because this is a way for me to hold myself accountable with what I'm actually writing down in this booklet. The third monthly thing is I really wanted to give myself a month to complete the Write the Word journal, which I also got from Laura Casey. And those were the three things. I didn't want to do too much or overwhelm myself, because I know with overwhelming myself, then I start to kind of revert back to old ways. And I didn't want to start out 2019 doing that. So to move on to my weekly action items, I wanted to make sure that I was recording and editing videos for you all on a weekly basis. And secondly, I wanted to make sure that I was really, focusing on my meal planning, because you guys know that I'm trying to do a better lifestyle. And it is hard, to say the least. It's very hard letting go habits that you've had for 30 plus years. And then third, I wanted to make sure that I was journaling my thoughts, good, bad, just really honing in on myself and evaluating what was going on up in here. And to move on to my daily actions, I wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. I wanted to make sure that I was doing devotion or Bible study on a daily basis. I wanted to say, I love you more to my husband and my kids. And that's not to say that I don't say it now, but I really wanted to just be deliberate with how often I say it. I wanted to make sure that I was posting on social media and to do daily affirmations for myself. So how did I do? My plan of attack was really just to kind of leave this at the house, review it, and make sure that I was doing these things on a daily, weekly, and a monthly basis. And that was kind of my attack. And I have to say that did not work. as far as me leaving it at home. That is something that I will be changing, and I will get into that here shortly. But that was my attack, that I would fill this out and I would leave it at home. I wouldn't carry it around with me. And I would just kind of look at it in the morning and try my best to, keep a mental note of what it is that I said I was going to do and do it. What actually worked? I would say that the book itself was great, and it actually worked because I feel like when things were getting rough for me or tough for me and I was having like mental breakdowns and I was just getting in my head and having those negative thoughts, that I could quickly just go put my hands on something tangible and read over my thought process when I was when my mind was clear and I was really thinking about the things that I wanted to accomplish for 2019. That was very, very beneficial for me. And that is something that I am so happy that this was just not something that I said, oh, I'm going to do this, and I put it in a spreadsheet and I put it in the actual computer and just let it live there. I love the fact that I was able to go grab it and read it. So back to what did not work for me. The first thing that didn't work is I can't leave this at home. The reason being is because I am not good right now with everything that I have on my plate, remembering what I said that I was going to do. I don't look at it I take that back. I do look at it every single day now, but for the month of January, I was not looking at it every single day. I was not putting those fresh thoughts in my head every single morning when my mind was clear. And so the day took over and I wasn't able to actually focus on what I said that I wanted to do. I would just remember like the top things, but not remember everything. So leaving it at home didn't work. That's not something that I feel like I'm going to be able to do if I want to continue to make progress on these goals. So I will be changing that for the month of February. I was not looking at it enough. Again, that was part of me leaving it at home. Like simply, I just was not looking at it enough and making it a priority. So that leads me to, how did I do? Well, I will say that I did good. I will take all the little things that I did accomplish and take that as a win and not look at what I didn't accomplish and look at it as a failure or a loss. I definitely did some things very well. My waking up at 5 a.m., I did good half of the month. And what happened was, is mid-month, things just got really hairy. I was overwhelmed with things that were on my plate. And I started to revert back into like, what was I thinking? I'm not good enough. This is too much for me to take on. I'm going to be like anything and everything. That mental breakdown up here, this is where my worst enemy lives, is between these two ears of mine. I got in my head. And so I started to not do the things that I said I wanted to do. But what was great, and this is why I love this baby here, is that when I wrote this, I was clear-minded. My mind was clear. I was without frustrations. I was without thoughts of sadness, thoughts of not being capable of doing things. I was just clear-minded, and I was able to think about the things that I really wanted to do. So it was awesome to go and pull this and read what I wrote down. And I was able to see the fact that I was reverting, that I was, going in the opposite or the wrong direction, and I immediately grabbed my power sheets and got to reading. Another thing that has been introduced to me very recently, this is completely off topic, but I just want to quickly mention it. I was introduced to Mel Robbins. A good friend of mine introduced me to Mel Robbins. I should say my best friend introduced me to Mel Robbins. And with the help of Mel Robbins' Mindset Reset and the Power Sheets, I am really able to have a good system going into February. So I will check back in with you guys in February and give you an update on how that is going. So as you can see, that my progress here on my progress reports is that I have a couple of things that I did well for half of the month, and then everything else I kind of just didn't do very well on. So going into February, I'm not adding any additional goals to my list. I'm going to go back and do the same exact goals because I really feel that it is important for me to tackle the small goals that I have set for myself before I started adding on and making things more complicated. So I've tweaked it just a little bit, and I will show those to you in February when we do this update. But I am going to do a reset for January, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this time my goal is to do better. So again, I'm not asking, I don't want to put the expectation in my mind that if I don't do it all exactly the way that I have, written on this piece of paper, that I'm going to label that as a failure. I am not. This is just me making little by little progress and growing slowly in order for me to meet my overall large goals for 2019. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for stopping by. Please leave your comments down below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Also, check me out over on my Instagram at Shaes Country Kitchen. See you guys soon.